Today I'm going to tell you the 3 things that you need to stop doing right now to paint shadows that are more believable, that will bring some excitement to your painting. The first thing that we need to stop doing is painting our shadows too dark. When you take a photo, your camera is exposing for the lights or the darks, and it can't really expose for both. So often you'll see that the sky is completely blown out, or the shadows are completely too dark and lack detail and color. And so often when you're painting from a reference photo, your shadows are too dark, and we lose that transparency in the shadow area. The second thing that we need to stop doing is painting our shadows gray. There are so many colors inside of shadows that we can explore, and when we can tap into these, it's going to make your paintings a lot more exciting and interesting. One of the quickest ways to make your painting boring is to paint a large area all one color, all one mixture, one consistency. So we want to keep that in mind when it comes to painting shadows. The exciting thing and the interesting thing about painting shadows is that they often can reflect the ambient color that's around them. Here's a fantastic book recommendation on color and light if you want to really dive into these things a lot further. But in this book, they have a simple photograph that illustrates this point. If you take a look at this picture of this soccer ball, you can see how the top of this ball that's in shadow reflects the blue light of the sky, and the bottom part of this ball reflects the green light that's bouncing up off of the grass onto the surface of the ball. Now this is something that we want to pay attention to throughout our scene, and it actually makes painting shadows so much more fun and exciting and interesting than just painting one large gray area. One of my favorite subjects to paint that illustrates this point perfectly is a car. A car has a reflective surface, and so you'll notice that the top of the car is often more of a blue color. Now the sides and some of the downward facing areas of the car can often be more of a warm color because light is bouncing off of the buildings, the road, the other warmer colors around the scene. What this means is when I'm painting cars and I'm painting the shadows, I like to mix in some coolness on the top of the car that meets some warmer colors on the sides and the bottom of the car. And I just let these mix wet into wet when I'm painting the shadows of the car. A good rule for this when you're thinking about shadows outdoors is upward facing surfaces can reflect cool light. They reflect the blue of the sky. Other side facing and downward facing surfaces reflect the warmth or what other color is around them. So as we've seen in the soccer ball, that could be a green color reflecting off of the grass. So right away when we start to think about this, we can introduce a lot more color and a lot more interest when we are painting our shadows. Also, if you have a light area of your scene, you can introduce more warmth in that part of the shadow. Now, if you take a look at this example here, I've cooled down the shadows until I get close to this building that has some brilliant light shining. And when we get to this area, I can warm the shadows up. And when you can start to think of the shadows as another extension that can contribute to the feeling of light and the feeling of the environment of the scene, rather than just a gray, bland, dead area of the painting, we can introduce some believability and some visual excitement into our scene. And the third thing that we need to stop doing is painting our shadows as a disconnected piece from whatever is casting the shadow. Something that will bring some unity to your painting is connecting the shadows to the object to ground them in your scene. So oftentimes if I have figures that I'm painting, I will connect the bottom of the figure right into the shadow and make this all one big connected piece. Rather than painting shadows in a very disconnected, separate way, they can really be used to unify your scene and connect objects to the ground. And one more recommendation is to have fun when you paint your shadows. Mix in some different colors. Shadows can often be a large shape in your painting. Use this to take advantage of painting wet into wet, letting colors mix on the paper. And just experiment. Mix in some warm colors, some cool colors. We can paint shadows in a very creative, interesting way to add some life and some interest to your painting. Now, if you're ready to take the next step forward in your painting, I have a free video lesson for you. The 7 Secrets of Fresh and powerful painting. Now, in this video lesson, I walk through how to plan your painting, how to mindfully paint your scene, and how to put down your brush before you overwork your painting. Now, when you sign up for this video lesson, I also send you my watercolor supplies guide. So if you have questions about what brushes, what paper, what paints I'm using, you can learn all of that in my watercolor supplies guide. In addition to that, I also include a pre-painting checklist. Now, this is something that you can use before each painting to ensure that you're thinking through the right things before you get started. Now, if you're ready to take the next step in your painting, all you have to do is follow this link here to watch my free video lesson, The 7 Secrets of Fresh and Powerful Painting. I'll see you there.